Who is the worst person right now on Earth? I'm gonna have to say the worst person on Earth right now is the person that made the following traits mainstream. Point 1. People that can't even spell science attempting to debunk the world's leading scientists. 2. If the press reports something you don't like, it is fake news. Anything you don't like is lies. 3. If someone asks you a question you don't like, go on a personal attack. There is nitrogen monoxide room for civil discourse. Inexplicably was talking to someone on speakerphone holding the phone at her chin instead of holding it 3 inches further in either direction at her ear, or using AirPods like a normal freaking person. On the plus side, I now have a very precise image of what she and her friend are wearing to their Super Bowl party tonight in case someone asks. Trump considering he said that any NATO member who doesn't pay should be attacked by Russia, or to quote, he would encourage Russia to do whatever the hell they want to any NATO member country that doesn't meet the spending guidelines on defense. No, I would not protect you. In fact, I would encourage Russia them to do whatever the hell they want. You got to pay. You got to pay your bills. Putin is murdering the most good people per cubic minute than anyone else right now. Russia owes about $1 trillion in damages so far for their genocidal invasion of Europe's largest country, Ukraine. Russian bots are everywhere lying about everything. Today, all while killing legislation, paying off politicians, hiding pollution numbers, armed with active armies of litigators, an APR propagandist campaign that has permeated the public narrative. Putin, he's destroying a country and has caused a significant amount of death and suffering over his entire life. He also has the potential to drag us into a larger conflict if he continues his belligerence. The answer is Vladimir Putin. It has been the answer for 20 years. All other answers are wrong, and if you disagree, you know absolutely nothing about geopolitics. Vladimir Putin is Satan walking the earth. Anyone who harms animals and children, animal torture or abuse. Obviously, I didn't mean all meat eaters, just the ones in the meat industry. Hunters aren't evil in my books, unless it's for trophy. Nobody has mentioned Larry Fink so far, so I'll go ahead and redirect your attention to BlackRock and the amount they invest in fossil fuels. Hint: they invent hundreds of billions in fossil fuels. Big pharma owners. They make life-saving drugs and charge an arm and a leg to use them. If it costs them $1 to make, they'll charge over $1,001,000. Health greed shouldn't exist. We really need qualifiers. The worst person on earth probably doesn't have the access to damage that, say, Putin has. Do you go by overall effect? Or do you go by intent? The idiot who botched my spinal tap and left me without being able to poop or pee normally. Fuck that idiot, and I hope he gets an infection in his junk and falls off. Any person in a position of power that possess the ability to force poor people to murder other poor people so that they can acquire more power, land, or genocide. Jeff Bezos. Guy could give away 100,000 a day for over 50 years and still have over half his money. Guy is the real-life Lex Luthor running an army of slaves and robots. Right now it's undoubtedly Putin. There's no question. The completely unnecessary deaths he is personally responsible for now number in the hundreds of thousands. Hard choice between every politician. They are all greedy cunts who couldn't care less about us or our countries. They just sell themselves to the highest bidder. Most health insurance CEOs. The lobbying they do to engage in war with their customers is insane. If they were all drawn and quartered, not a tear would be shed. Modi, PM of India. He's converting the largest democracy into a fascist state while the world watches and profits in silence. Charles Schwab as well. Putin. The horrors he causes are not equaled by anyone else on the planet. He is on par with the worst of the worst. He is the worst since Hitler. There are terrorists, serial killers and child predators in this world, and people here commenting Trump, Trudeau and Musk FFS. Daniel Ortega, the dictator of Nicaragua. is up there. More people need to talk about the atrocities happening in Nicaragua. The guy who encouraged Russia to attack NATO member states who didn't pay enough into the alliance is pretty far up there. The dude who's on the deep web in some small poor Asian country buying children from poor people to make baby snuff films. The secret pedo who reads this comment, living life without anyone knowing, continuing to get away with what they do. Felician Kabuga helped finance the Rwandan genocide by ordering machetes and funding extremist media outlets. Putin's actions might have had the most broadly negative impact on the world in recent years. So I guess him? The 1,300 people who own 90 of the world's wealth. Pedos that are protected by rich and powerful figures. And we probably have no idea who they are. Joseph Fritzl, and the elites behind the scenes who partied with Epstein but are still free. All the people who aren't trying to stop the war-like situations in the world at the moment. ITT people whose only knowledge of the world come from ragabate they read on Reddit. There's probably a few unheard of active serial killers, so maybe them or Kim Jong-un. As a Turkish person, Erdogan and the main opposition party leaders, they all suck. The employee that put tomato in burger when I specifically said no fucking tomatoes. Any of those maggot church pastors like Kenneth Copeland, Joel Osteen and the like. Sorry for the real answer, but probably Kim Jong or one of those African warlords. Bibi Netanyahu, child killer genocide enabler, liar and the big propagandist. Kim Jong-un, he takes you to the camps if you don't show enough enthusiasm. In terms of global impact, Rupert Murdoch is near or at the top of the list. IMO gonna have to say Trump, or Putin, or Kim Jong-un. Take your pick. The owner of Bavaria Sausage Company. They are the king of the worst. Whoever made pop-up ads and the 1 pixel size of cross to close it. Whoever writes 5 paragraphs to get to the question that you asked. We probably don't even know, because if we did, we'd be horrified. Putin. But Trump is a close second, and they depend on each other. Putin. A war he alone started in Ukraine is awful beyond words. Haven't studied all 8 billion yet. Can I answer Tuesday? Barb, who dumped me in high school 40 years ago. F you, Barb. Putin. He's about as close to Hitler as we've gone so far. Whoever invented scam calling that are robbing the elderly. It's a tie. Putin and Netanyahu. Close second. Klaus of WEF. Vladimir the Monster Putin and Kim Jong-un Rocketman. Probably some asshole behind the scenes we never heard of. Gavin, if you're reading this, pal, I think you're a bellend. The fat guy who scratched my car while trying to get out. Kim Jong-un. Putin. The people in those terrorist groups. Putin, Xi, Trump, Yoon, Netanyahu, Kim, Bin Salman, etc. Whoever invented robocalls, that sub deserves to die. Whoever loaded YouTube with more adverts than content.